Hey, second grade, here's our objectives and our goals for reading this week, what we're going to learn, and what I want you to be able to say, I can do. A comprehension strategy is something which comprehension just means to understand what you're reading. A strategy is a way to do it. So here's a great way to understand what you're reading better, and that's to reread. And we've talked about this before. As you read, you come across words, facts, or explanations that are new to you. Stop and reread these parts to be sure you understand them. Especially when you're reading a nonfiction expository text, there's a lot of information at once, and it could be all pretty new to you. So sometimes when I read and I see there's a lot of information, a lot of things that are new to me, I'm going to go back and read again to make sure I understand them. You're going to read a story called Pedal Power, and it's energy made from bicycles, which is pretty cool. And it says right here in your story, I read that pedaling a bike makes the wheel spin. The wheel spins the generator, which turns the energy into electricity. And if you need to go back and read that again to understand the steps of making electricity, that would be a great choice. Now you understand how a bike can make electricity. So rereading is also always, I should say, very important when you're kind of almost getting it but not really sure. Here is author's purpose. Now that's our focus for the week, understanding. We've done author's purpose before. I'll get you some videos to remind you. If you remember, I drew a big circle on the board and I put P-I-E, and I told you apple pie was my favorite pie. And P stands for persuade. I stands for inform, like information. And E stands for entertain. So an author who writes the words in a story, there's a reason why that author chooses to write that story. Is it to persuade you to feel like, make you feel like you should think the same as the author? Maybe it's a story about football and how it's the best sport and it's trying to persuade you to be a football fan, or persuade you to like a certain kind of food, like an advertisement. That doesn't often happen in second grade, but it can happen with second grade books. To inform is something that you're going to learn from. So if it's a nonfiction or expository text, it's probably going to be the I to inform us. Now the E stands for entertain, and that's to make you laugh or kind of make you thrilled, like maybe like a little bit scary. But oftentimes expository text can be entertaining, but mostly it's about informing you. So sometimes an author's purpose might be more than one, but you got to think in your brain, what is it the most trying, what is the author mostly trying to tell us? So authors write to answer, explain, or describe. As you read, look for clues to the author's purpose. Okay? I'll talk more about that later in the week. And here's your genre, which I kind of mentioned already. These are a lot of words for the same thing. When I say fiction, you say fake. Fiction, fiction. Remember that? Now, nonfiction is not fake. Another word for that is informational text. You're getting information. Or expository text, which is what this book often uses. Now, Pedal Power, which is what we're going to read in a minute, is an expository text. Expository text gives facts and information about a topic, and it can include text features. Now, text features are things such as charts, timelines, captions, diagrams, and something we're going to focus on this week is subheadings. We've done this before, okay? So here for text evidence, I can tell that Pedal Power is an expository text because it gives information about people using bicycles to produce energy. It also has text features, like this blue subheading right here. It says bicycle powered energy. A subheading tells what a section of the text is about. It also is really helpful if you have questions that you have to answer and you're looking for them in a long story. If you can use the subheadings to help you, like we did with the beach erosion story, it's going to be really helpful to you to find the answers. A diagram, which is often in our Scholastic News, shows how something works. The labels give the names of parts or actions tells about the action. So here's the whole setup for pedal power and the battery. And so you understand it's labeled, all the pieces and the parts. Okay, animals are often in diagrams. Your vocabulary strategy is similar to your context clues last week. You can use paragraph clues to figure out the meaning of a new word. Think about what you learned from the whole paragraph and use words you know to help you understand the new word. So when we did context clues, if we didn't know a word, we usually could find a clue in the same sentence or maybe a little above or a little below. This time we're going to use the whole paragraph to help understand. To figure out what the word transferred means, I look at the other sentences in the paragraph. Paragraph clues help me understand that transferred means moved from one place to the other. Let's take a look. You use your legs to push the pedals. Your energy is transferred to the bike. This shift of power or energy makes the bike move. So the word transferred gives you some clues in this paragraph. Legs to push the pedals. Shift of power or energy helps you to understand that it means moved from one place to another. All right, friends, let's get back to pedal power and learn about how you can do make your own energy. Now, this is not something that I have laying around the house or anything like that, but I do find it very interesting. So go ahead and open up your small reading textbook, page 420. The essential question this week is, how do we use energy? Here we go.
Genre: expository text. Pedal power. People produce energy when they ride bikes.
What is energy? Now, here's an example of a subheading. If you have a question that says, what's energy? Obviously, if you go to this subheading that says, what is energy? The answer is going to be in here somewhere. So that's why the subheadings are a really nice shortcut to figure out where to find text evidence.
What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. Solar energy comes from the sun. It's a silent source of energy because it makes no sound. There is also energy that comes from wind and water. Did you know that energy can come from people too? When you pedal a bike, you produce energy. You use your legs to push the pedals. Your energy is transferred to the bike. This shift of power, or energy, makes the bike move. Now imagine riding your bike to create enough power to run a computer. Some students at one school did just that. They hopped on bikes connected to generators and pedaled in place. Soon, they were producing electricity. This energy is needed to run their laptop computers.
That is a really cool science project. In 4th or 5th grade, I can't remember which one, you have the opportunity to be part of a science fair and to create a project with some friends in a little group. And this would be a really cool one to create your own energy source. Now, this is going to be all about bicycle-powered energy in these 2 paragraphs, and I know that because of this subheading. There's also a diagram including some labels. This is the bicycle generator. Okay, this is how it's made. The energy is made.
Bicycle-powered energy. Here's how bicycle-powered energy works. When a student pedals the bike, the rear wheel spins. The wheel spins the generator. The generator produces electricity. As long as a student pedals the bicycle, electricity flows, or runs, through the generator. The electricity can be used right away. This energy can also be stored in a battery. It can be used later. Teachers can haul or carry laptop computers to the battery and plug them in for power. Bicycle generator, generator, battery, stand, rear wheel, pedal.
Now, this is exactly where I would have to go back and reread to understand how this whole thing works. So as a student pedals the bicycle, electricity flows or runs through the generator. So pedal, 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 energy goes into the generator, okay? The electricity can be used right away This energy can also be stored in a battery. Okay, so first the kiddo pedals. The energy goes into the generator, and the generator's job is to charge up the battery. And that battery can be used right away to plug in whatever you need. Really big battery, different than the batteries we buy at the store, huh? All right, I think I understand that better now. Using bicycle power. So once we have the power, what can we use it for? Don't think you can power a car or a helicopter or anything big like that. Let's take a look.
Using bicycle-powered energy. People also exercise on bicycles and produce power in gyms. People create watts as they pedal. A watt is a unit for measuring power. Small devices, such as small televisions and fans, often use less than 100 watts per hour. These things can be run by bicycle-powered electricity. It would be a mistake to use pedal power to run a refrigerator, though. This large appliance often uses more than 700 watts per hour. The electricity for these machines comes from power lines overhead or underground. Pedal power is popping up in schools, gyms, and homes. What a fun way to provide electricity! Bicycle power can be used to power these appliances.
All right, so how can people use the electricity they produce from riding bikes? And you can see right on this page, the subheading says using bicycle power and powered energy. So this whole page is all about that. That's the main idea. One thing I wanted to make sure I explained is this whole thing of watts. So electricity is something that you can't really see inside of a battery or see how much is flowing through the wires. So people and scientists kind of measure it by how strong it is. So 100 watts of power being used an hour isn't that strong. You can make that through the bicycle powered generator. However, a refrigerator and bigger appliances need stronger or a larger amount of energy every hour. And you wouldn't be able to pedal enough watts in order to do that and to make that happen. So that's kind of what watts are, the amount and strength of the electricity. Okay. So I want you to also think about a text to self connection. If you were able to make a bicycle powered generator, what would you use it on? I have an idea of what you guys might use it on. Raise your hand if you would use it to power up your iPads. That's what I thought. I don't really use a hair dryer. I do use a blender to make smoothies, but if I had to make sure I had something powered, I guess my number one thing would be my phone because it's my connection to you guys and everybody. I got my dojo on there. I've got my family's phone numbers. So I guess I would agree with you guys, probably. Phones, iPads, laptops, all that good stuff. So that is pretty cool, and I hope you give that some thought. Okay? Well, we'll talk more about energy later this week, friends, and continue to talk about author's purpose. Make sure you watch all the videos and take a look at that exit ticket that goes along with the story today. Thanks, guys. Love ya.